guys, it's Empress. Guess what? I told y'all I was about to be back with another one. Alright, here's another interview we got on the way. 1995 was the year. Drop them comments down below if you was in 1995. Turn it up. Alright, let's get to it.
It's more than statements, it's a way of life. Celebration. It's just talking.
Alright, let's get straight into the interview. Let's go.
Have you heard the Queen of Pop has arrived in the UK?
This is the first time I ever heard Queen of Pop. Period. I know y'all said that in the comments, but this is the first time I heard it in the media. Alright.
In London to perform a new single on Top of the Pops.
And says fame is not all it's cracked up to be. Very few people are equipped to live as an icon. Yes, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy's dog.
Not feeling the makeup here. Not feeling the makeup. Too much eyeshadow. Yeah. But I'm guessing that was a style 95.
Biggest rock record ever. Audiences and fans.
That record really meant a lot to me. What else could I do with this name? Right? What was I going to do? Become a school teacher or something?
That THO scene and That's a Chicken Susan, I feel like always going to be in my Madonna top 10 moments. All right, let's go. And you going, stranger.
Records, head a company, and emerged as one of the most powerful figures in the entertainment. I think that my favorite songs that I've written, of all the songs that I've written, are my ballads, my slow songs. And actually, for the past 5 years, different people have been coming to me and saying, you should put a compilation record together of slow songs, and I finally did it.
How did you choose which ballads would go onto this album?
Just the ones I thought were, that moved me the most, that stood the test of time, that I could still bear to listen.
Ballads. It's notable
You've realized
to
that I'm a
me.
manically depressed individual.
Exactly.
Yes.
And is that true?
Well, off and on. Aren't you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do you go to therapy for yours?
Not as much as I should. I think most creative people are manically depressed.
And do you think that creativity comes out of the depression somewhat?
I think you have to dig deep, and I think that pain is, I think it's good to exercise your pain through your writing.
Don't hold on to the past.
Sometimes when I'm writing, I sort of have to dig into past memories and a lot of really painful moments to come up with some poetic ideas and stuff. And so in doing that, you kind of go back, you just keep replaying all the sad moments in your life and kind of keeps you in a semi-permanent state of sadness.
Do you find, though, that you prefer the songs that you've written when you are in that state to songs that you might have written when you were
Happy?
giddier? Yeah.
Definitely.
They said, listen, we not getting tagged up for these videos. I don't blame y'all.
A voice that...
Hey, I will argue that though. The upbeat tracks don't get enough credit, especially the ones that are like inspirational by nature. That's when I first learned a lot about Madonna, I feel like, from like Virgin. I get up again, over and over. Like, to me, that could literally be like Madonna's theme song, if you will. Anyway, let's go.
that over time has matured.
Yes, I'm feeling slow.
When I started singing, I didn't know what I was doing.
And I said that too. Y'all be like, oh, Madonna always had to sing. No. Madonna was a dancer, turned drummer, turned singer, right? Like, singing wasn't Madonna's first nature of passion, if you will, right? And we hear that though, like, I can remember the first, it's like, please watch the playlist because I feel like it really unveils like, okay, the girl stepping the vocals up, right? Like, and I feel like Live to Tell was one of those moments like, okay, even Crazy for You, like you can hear, like, okay, yeah, she getting better, right? To when we get to Take a Bow, it's like, whoa, this was the girl who was everybody. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
And I wasn't really using my voice completely, and I never had any training. So I think over the years I've learned how to use it.
And over the years, too, let's shout out to Nicki, because I feel like Nicki was a turning point with Madonna being a vocalist, like with her being on that, what's that? It wasn't called the True Blue tour, but the tour for True Blue. And I'm talking about, I forgot what it was called. Anyway, her performing with Nicki, and she like, oh, because remember, on the Virgin tour, she had like dudes as background singers, right? So the second tour, she's like, whoa, snap, like this girl, she out here showing out every night. Let me step my game up. Like, I just feel like it was that competitive nature as well that made her be like, okay, let me step my vocal game up.
It's interesting that people, I think, have focused more on your more dance-oriented music in the past. Do you think that this is going to maybe change the way people think of you as a singer?
Well, I think it's going to change the emphasis. I mean, I think that people will pay more attention to the actual songs, which was one of the reasons I wanted to do it, because there's always so much controversy surrounding everything that I do that I just wanted people to listen.
That's why I started this journey, right? Like, man, this lady, I just know her for being in headlines, doing some crazy stuff. Like, is she a true artist? That's how the journey started.
Into the music and not get distracted by career.
How important was being a critical and commercial success to you early on?
I don't think I ever was critically successful. I mean, it's really interesting. If you took out the reviews of my work and things that I did and compare them to they're still saying the same thing. I've always had to deal with this, like, sense of, like, you know, people trying to sort of, like,
bring me down,
predict that I would soon fail. And I've been dealing with that my entire career.
When you hear that stuff, does that affect you anymore, or does it just kind of...
Yeah, it affects me because it makes me realize how miserable most human beings are, and how instead of, you know, celebrating that someone could come from nothing and do something with their life, they have to try to tear you down, because ultimately people don't want to be reminded of how little they've accomplished in their life.
Dang, that whole little speech just reminded me of inside of me, in the world, trying to tear me down. Oh, no. The foolish people trying to bring me down. I just think of your smiling face. Man, that song slipped on. And I'm flying. Hey.
So,
being a critical success is not... It's not something that you look for, or would you...
It's important to me, because if it happened, it would mean to me that people were finally paying attention to my work and not something that I represent to them. But in the end, it's the people that you reach with your work that matters. So as long as, you know, people are buying my records or going to see my movies or whatever, or coming to see my concerts, then that's all that matters, not what someone's written in a newspaper.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
When we return to London, Madonna talks about playing the role of another controversial woman, Ava Peron.
There are many people who think she's a saint, and then there are other people who think she was Satan herself.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna have to do my own little background on Ava Peron, because if I remember, if I like read something about her one time or something like that, it was like, then she kind of like sell out the people who she came up from when she got on top. Like something like that. I gotta go back and kind of send me like a little short Ava Peron thing I can watch or something. Not something too long. I don't want no 2-hour Ava Peron. I'm already gonna watch the movie. Just some little snippet, okay?
So, and I can certainly identify with that.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. Man, you got commercials? Oh, this is the intro. What's it called? VH1 to 1? Oh, 1 to 1. Okay.
While in London, Madonna's main mission is to record the movie soundtrack to Evita for composer Andrew Lloyd Webber. Filming is
Exactly what did VH1 even stand for? Anybody know? Drop the comments down below. And Andrew Lloyd Webber, I feel like he was always been discussed on The Nanny, right? Wasn't he Mr. Sheffield's competition? Didn't he do Cat or something like that?
scheduled to begin in January. The coveted role of Ava Peron, the determined seductress who became Argentina's first lady and most powerful political figure, has been bouncing around Hollywood for years. Since the idea for the movie first surfaced, Madonna was reported to be in the running. Then it was rumored Meryl Streep had landed the part, and then Michelle Pfeiffer was said to have a deal. But Madonna was passionate about playing Evita, and in the end, she got the job.
It was meant to be mine, and everything happens for a reason. And when it came back around the third time, I said, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this movie. Because it was really hard for me to decide to do it, because I had to cancel doing a tour and a lot of things to promote my last album. And I had to give a lot of things up. And I thought, if it has come back to me the third time, it means I'm supposed to do it.
What is it about her story that that's so appealing to you?
I think that it's extremely unusual for a woman in a Latin country to have that kind of power, the kind of power that she did have. I mean, women, well, let's face it, you know, we won't go into that. But I mean, she was more powerful than her husband. And Latin countries are traditionally incredibly chauvinistic. So that in itself is interesting to me. But what she achieved is incredibly interesting because she came from nothing. And she managed to go from nothing to this incredibly powerful woman who had such an influence on her country and world politics too. And that is such an amazing story, I think. And also the controversy, because you either, if you know anything about her, you either hate her or you love her. And if you go to Argentina,
she's very polarized.
You'll get really extreme reactions.
Interesting.
And I love that. And there are many people who think she's a saint, and then there are other people who think she was Satan herself. So, and I can certainly identify with that.
You can relate.
Yeah.
When you're working in a film, obviously the director in that case is the one with the overall vision that you were part of. Does that feel odd to you to not be the one with the final say?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to be very submissive to be an actor or an actress. It's frustrating in that no matter what you do, it's someone else's vision, and someone else decides ultimately what is left, and they can completely shape or destroy your performance. Therefore, it is a very good reason to only work with people that you really, really trust. And I've certainly learned that through several mistakes, but that's how you learn.
In some ways, is it a relief to not be the final say and not be the one in control?
I love that positivity at the end. That's how you learn. Like, it's true. You know, nobody want to take them L's, but hopefully that's how you learn. Some people, they don't.
No.
You prefer to be in control.
It's not about preferring to be in control. It's just that I'm so used to, in my work, having a vision or a dream and, you know, choosing things and you know, saying, you know, that's great and that's great and let's do this and let's do that. And it's really hard for me. I mean, it's not so hard that I'm like, you know, gritting my teeth or something. It's just unusual to like go, oh, I'm not in that decision-making process. Oh, I have no say in that. And, you know, so it's frustrating.
Madonna returns to theaters Christmas Day as the glamorous witch Elizabeth in the new film 4 Rooms. It's her 13th feature film role. But unlike the success she's enjoyed with music, Madonna has yet to truly make it on the big screen.
Thank you.
Critics seem to agree that she has not found an effective film role since Desperately Seeking Susan in 1985. And many have written that if Evita fails, Madonna can say goodbye to Hollywood.
Realistically, how how much
It was
do you
more
feel
that
like you have
lady,
at stake with this movie? Do you even think in those terms?
Absolutely. It's very important that the movie does well, but if it doesn't, I know that I'll go on and
I would love to like to see like who came out and released the album in 1983, female, that was still relevant in 1995. Like, I would love to see that.
Unlike so many of her contemporaries who seem hell-bent on self-destruction, Madonna appears nearly indestructible.
You know what? Not even female, male too, right? Like, who released the album? Because I feel like, again, it's the big ones who we talk about, right? Out of all of them, Michael Jackson had the most staying power. I mean, it came out in 68, right? Boom, still relevant to this day. So Michael was already a head start in front of anybody that came out in the 80s, right? Because literally, again, he was a child star. You got Prince, came out in the 70s, right? Who else? That was George Michael. He was still relevant during this time, right? Maybe. Whitney was in the 80s, right? Very much relevant this time. This is like what Wayne to Exhale era for her. In the Bodyguard. Who else? Y'all from the 80s that was still like selling out? Mariah, 90s baby, right? She didn't release nothing in the 80s. Okay, so yeah, I got Michael, Prince, George, and Madonna, 4. And Whitney, 5 people. Am I missing anybody? Y'all let me know.
after destroying me emotionally, then I sort of went the other way, which was to say, okay, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to never rely on anybody, so I won't be hurt that way again. And so it made me incredibly independent. And I didn't grow up with any sort of female role model to sort of give me an idea of how I should behave. So I was actually quite fearless. I don't think I would have gone to New York when I was 17 and not known anybody and just said, really followed my dream. Maybe I would have chosen something different.
Dad, I'd love it if you'd come to both shows. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty racy in some sections. I don't know if you could take it 2 nights in a row. Dad, I'm not getting racy. I've been racy.
Were there things that your father did as well that you felt contributed to the drive that you have? He had a very good work ethic, and I think that influenced me. I suppose some people would consider him a fascist. Maybe the way he raised us is something like, you will do this because I said so and you don't need any reason. And he disciplined us, and at the time, I hated him for it, but in retrospect, I think it was really great for me because he really raised me to believe that I would only get something if I worked really hard for it.
Dad, you don't understand.
And he gave us incentive to get good grades in school.
Now, her daddy, Madonna is a boomer, right? Like, so what was her daddy? He like Great Depression? Like, tried to come us down below.
And stuff. I got a quarter for every A I got on my report card, so that was good. So, of course, I had to collect the most amount of quarters when I came home from school with my report card. There was a lot of competition in my family for quarters. It was the only time we got money from my father, so.
Did you always back then? Did you always get the most quarters?
Yes, I did.
And today?
Yes, I
You're
did.
still getting the most quarters.
Yeah.
But do you want to have kids of your own?
Yes.
Do you want them soon?
Yes, tomorrow.
Really?
Yes.
Dang, okay, I'm over this question too. Like, it's so crazy how much she was asked this question. And again, how women still are kind of like, yeah, you're not there, gonna have kids, not.
You want to have more than one?
And just going through like childbirth, right, labor and all that. It's wild, y'all. Like, I don't know how many y'all ever had kids before, but it's like there's not a day I don't think about that day, right? And how long it took and the pain, like literally, y'all. Like, it was wild. So people like, oh, become a mom. Like, they act like mother is just this like instant. Ooh, it's not. Anyway,
I don't know, 2 or 3.
Do you want to have a marriage along with that, or is that not
That would
really?
be really nice.
You prefer that?
Of course.
Do you?
So, How's the weather?
Thank you. Let's change the subject.
For a woman who has played out so much of her personal life in public, Madonna is quick to change the subject if she suspects the next question concerns her love life. Just as quickly, however, she'll tackle more serious topics.
Boring.
In terms of having kids, would you raise your kids with religion?
Yes. As sexist and patriarchal, as Catholicism is, I think it still had a good effect on me in many ways, and it made me ask a lot of questions. So, and I,
One thing I told my friend just the other day, and even told Pressure, my husband this, right? I'm like, when we were young, right, like teenage, it's like, oh, we want to break the rules, right? We don't want to have no routine. We want everything to be spontaneous, right? Or spontaneous. But the older you get, or when you have kids, you understand the importance of structure, a schedule, a routine, right? And that is very much important. And it's also interesting because, you also want your kids to have morals, principles, ethics. That's why she's like, I do want them to know religion, right? Yeah, like for everything I've said about Catholicism, I still think it was some good because it's kind of like, I had some morals and beliefs. You want that, which is so interesting. All right, anyway, let's go.
I think rituals, the discipline of going to church and rituals, things like that are good for people, whether you end up doing it later on in your life or not. Still, it's good.
How would you talk to your own kids about sex?
Well, very honestly.
From day one?
Absolutely.
So y'all think she just about to be whispering to a little baby, newborn baby ear, this is sex. Man, get for real. Like the questions these people were asking were so stupid. Like, come on.
Yeah. Because ultimately they're going to get some wrong information from somebody else before I get to them, and it's really stupid to wait. People think that children don't pay attention to things when they're 5. They see and hear everything.
Day one, I promise y'all, baby Empress, she does some things, and I realized, like, wow, the reason why she does this is because she seen me do this, right? Like, so I'm always like super, or at least I try to be super conscious, super aware, like how I respond to things, because a lot of what she sees, she emulates, and that's kids. Like Madonna's right, and like kids just pick up on things so quick, even emotionally. Like she can understand, like, oh, okay, mommy might not be like totally happy right now, right? Like she might just walk up and hug me or something. Kids are very smart. Kids are people too. Hey, so.
Do you subscribe to the theory that everybody is born bisexual, or do you think that sexuality is something that's learned? I don't have the answer to that. I'm in the dark there.
I have another one on that.
I think whatever it is, that we should embrace it and never make ourselves or other people feel ashamed, whatever it is.
Why do you think that everyone seems to love speculating about 2 women having sex, but the idea of 2 men having sex is still such an abhorrent idea to so many people?
Well, I think it's mostly abhorrent to straight men who are afraid of their own homosexuality. I don't think it really grosses out any women, not any women I know. And I think that 2 men having sex is erotic.
When we come back to our interview in England,
But like, how do we get from being a parent to, again, it's like y'all, or I'm not saying y'all, but like they wanted this lady to be such like a freak of nature to where she was just a freak. All thing she cared about was sex. And it's like, no. And again, if you look back at her career, I said this earlier, maybe this video and the one before this one, when she married Sean, I'm like, what? Why would she do that? But that was showing the quote unquote traditional values that Madonna had then, right? You look at the whole True Blue era, to me, mostly it was her being kind of like a traditional wife, so to speak. You know what I mean? So come on, man, let's go.
Madonna takes one final shot.
Well, when I'm dead, they'll finally kiss my ass. Not how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works. this video.
Madonna has always surprised. Cities are changing.
Very few people are equipped to live as an icon.
Yes, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy's dog.
And yet you're doing it.
Well, it's too late now. I can't back out of it now.
You wouldn't really want to, though, would you?
Oh, I guess not.
When we were kids, my brothers and sisters and I used to play this game where you had to rank the following in order of importance to you: fame, money, power, and love.
Mm-hmm.
Which order do you think that you would put those in? Love first.
Absolutely love. Money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have love and you have money, then you have power, and fame is not important. So.
Bingo.
For more than 10 years now, you've accumulated incredible fame and wealth and become one of the world's most recognizable women.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you would have traded all of that for?
Yes.
What is that?
A mother.
Oh, dang.
On having the last laugh.
Well, when I'm dead, they'll finally kiss my ass. Isn't that how it works? When Marilyn Monroe was alive, they were so vicious and cruel to her. They ripped her to shreds. They wouldn't give it up to her in any way, shape, or form. And then when she died, it's just like, oh, she's a comedic genius. I mean, excuse me. I mean, they do that to everybody. They did it to Vincent van Gogh. I mean, history just repeats itself over and over again that way.
Yep. Alright, y'all. So that was this. Drop the comments down below. Y'all know what to do. Anything stood out to y'all, anything y'all want to touch on, let's chop it up in them comments. I hope y'all enjoying this, because I'm doing this because y'all asked for it. Y'all like, hold on, wait for some interviews, boom, boom, boom. So we did it. We here. Drop them comments down below. All right, guys, hope everybody's out there feeling good, staying safe. And listen, if this your first video of mine, hit that subscribe button. Check out my Madonna playlist. I've been reacting to Madonna since before the first album, the demos. Make sure y'all check that out. It's been literally, when I say the journey, it's been a journey. All of y'all know that. All right, anyway. I'll see y'all next video. Love you guys.